Hey, Vladimir Donis here. And today I wanted to jump online and talk about how to generate instant sales for your business without hiring a salesperson. And this actually works even if you hate selling because of the structure that you'll be using to communicate with your prospects. So it's essentially one of the first things you may ask is why this topic? Why is this important? This is important, I think, for a couple of reasons. One, we want to help you help prevent your business from collapsing. Not so long ago, I was looking at an article on Forbes, and it mentioned that 90% of startups fail. And here's what you need to know about the other 10%. Now, as I was reading that article, I kind of compared it to students who are in college. So if I'm a college student and I have to write about this specific topic, I would take this topic serious to some extent because I would want to get a good grade. So I would write about the topic, but then again, it won't hit as close to home because I'm merely just doing a paper for school. It won't hit as close to home if I am not actually living that reality. But for me, it's a lot more close to home for multiple reasons. One of the things that I do is I host a local meetup, and in the local meetup, I host marketing. So I host marketing topics. I invite local business owners to come in to talk about marketing, to talk about website optimization. Marketing topics can range from search engine optimization to content marketing to local marketing, many different types of marketing to try to help them dial in and get more leads and traffic. So for me, I've interacted with business owners who are on their second businesses, third businesses, who've actually experienced business failure as a result of some of the things that we're going to talk about today. I've experienced it as well. So it's definitely very close to home because it's not one of those things that, oh, okay, I'm going to just write about this in school or I'm going to just do a paper about this. This is actually something that is close to home because I've interacted with multiple people who've lived it. I've lived it as well. So hence this topic today. So let me tell you the story that brought this a little bit more closer to home. So essentially, one of the individuals that I interacted with through my meetup is an individual that started off with having a business, and it was a great business. It was great business because this individual found her first client, and she provided awesome results, awesome service for her first client. Her first client then referred her to someone else. As a result of her doing a good job, she kept getting referrals for about 3 months. So for 3 months straight, she didn't necessarily have to do any marketing because she kept getting referrals. Well, 3 months later, the referrals dried out. There was no longer any more referrals. So if there's no longer any more referrals, her next logical step was to hire a salesperson. So she went forward, she went ahead and she hired a salesperson. And unfortunately, the salesperson didn't work out. And the salesperson didn't work out for two reasons. Reason number one, that person just wasn't a good fit for the role. Reason number two is that she couldn't afford to continue paying this individual. So there she is. She has a great product or great service to offer, doesn't know how to sell, can't afford a salesperson. So her business is basically collapsing right around her without any other solution. So the solution that I propose or that I'm coming up with is a webinar. Basically, a webinar essentially can be the solutions for many reasons. It's one of the fastest ways to turn prospects from cold to hot. It costs a lot less than hiring a salesperson. It doesn't call out sick. It automates the selling process. It allows you as well to gain authority, very quickly and to get your audience to like and trust you. What is a webinar? A webinar essentially is just an online presentation to present your products and your services to your prospects. And you're presenting it with two goals. You're presenting it with a marketing goal and you're presenting it with an education goal. And that marketing and education goal combined is going to essentially help you make the sale. So that's the goal of a webinar. Hence why a webinar can easily replace you having to hire a salesperson. So let's look at some data outside of some of the things that I'm talking about, outside of me just talking about this specific topic, and see how are other businesses using this specific methodology to acquire new users. According to the Content Marketing Institute, it is the second least used mechanism to acquire new users, to engage and to interact with prospects for recruitment purposes. As you can see, social media, case studies and blogs are a lot used. So if this is something that can be so useful, why is it that many businesses are not using it? Well, the why is that most businesses just don't know how to use it. And then I looked at a different source that talks about why webinars are great. So you have a completely different source that lists 10 reasons why webinars are great for every single business. So one source is saying, hey, it's not being used. Another source is saying it is definitely great. So why don't more businesses use webinars to acquire users? Perhaps they don't know where to get started, how to structure it for maximum output, and they think they need to know selling techniques. In all actuality, you don't need to know selling techniques at all. You just need to structure your content in a very specific way to be able to engage your prospects. Okay. What is a marketing webinar and how can it work for your business? It's a marketing mechanism specifically engineered to motivate your prospects to buy, even if you hate selling and you have zero selling skills. Because throughout the process of you engaging with your prospects via a webinar, the idea is going to educate them as it relates to your specific service, as it relates to your specific product. And even if they do not buy from you, they will leave your presentation knowing a lot more than they did. So it's an education process as well. They will be well educated and or motivated, and that's one of the things that kind of just lead them to buy. So this presentation specifically, who is it for? Specifically, it's for coaches, experts, consultants, course builders. If you sell information online, this is for you. If you want more customers, if you want to charge more, if you want more freedom, this presentation is definitely for you. And a webinar can certainly work for you as well. One of the things that I want to mention is this is definitely going to be different. And how is it different? It's different because, as I mentioned earlier, a webinar slash marketing style presentation is intended to help the prospect, those who are listening to it, learn. So you'll definitely learn at the end of this presentation. And here's what you're going to learn. You're going to learn that your business can consistently generate sales without a salesperson. You'll learn how to create a marketing webinar that converts without having writer's blocks. And you will learn how to get consistent leads for your webinar without wasting any money. So that is the goal and the objective of this webinar. I wanted to kind of just provide just some more third party data, just to kind of just see what is the overall conversion rate across many different industries. So if I look at many different industries, the overall conversion rate is usually below 2%. And as you can see on this chart, some of the conversion rates are below 1%, some of them are 1.5, but overall, the average conversion rate across most industries is 2%. And some of the things that we'll be talking about today, some of the things that you'll be learning today, is going to position you to essentially be able to get a higher conversion rate. That is indeed the objective, and that is indeed the goal. I don't know about you, but at the end of the day, some of the things that I imagine and some of the things that I want, and you can probably imagine this as well. Can you imagine being able to just answer all of your prospects' objectives before it even comes up? Imagine being able to quickly build rapport with your audience, getting them to like and trust you. Imagine having an automated sales process which free you from begging people to do business with you. Imagine not having to hire a salesperson to do the selling for you. Imagine using a proven system to quickly turn prospects cold to hot. All of the above is indeed possible through a marketing driven webinar. Hiring a salesperson is the most effective way to generate consistent sales for your business. At least that was my thought process prior to being introduced to a webinar. But then again, I quickly started to realize, differently, specifically as it relates to the story that I told you earlier about, the young lady. This is someone that was rather new into business, didn't have the capital to hire a salesperson, didn't know how to properly train a salesperson, and ended up burning through a lot of money very quickly. With the salespersons, you do have to train them and hope that they follow the process and the script, but you yourself have to know what the process is. You yourself have to know the script so that you can properly train them. And then they're limited, right? So a salesperson can only interact with a certain number of people at a time, whereby with an online presentation, a presentation that you do via the web, you can have thousands of people watching that presentation all at once. It's not necessarily limited to interacting with one person at a time. You can interact with people in masses. Um, so what happens in her case, or what happens in any case if you hire the wrong person? Well, you end up wasting a whole lot of money on payroll on someone that just doesn't give you results, and that's not fun. And in some cases, if you have to release that person, there's a process. You have to go through a process of trying to take that person through some type of firing process, and that's not always an easy thing. That usually takes time. To choose a more effective, system, you have two choices. You can go with the old way, and the old way is to, pay a salesperson annually salary, and that's the old way. You can manage a non-performing knucklehead. Once again, that's another old methodology. Or you can use a marketing-driven webinar to sell your products and your services. That's one of the new ways. You do it once, and once you get it right, you just let it do the marketing and the selling for you. So, if I had to choose, I definitely want to choose the new way as opposed to the old way. The old way is not as effective. Marketing driven webinar. Businesses are now realizing that education based webinars help them reach more people online. Its goal is to educate prospects and thereby quickly build rapport, which helps make more sales. That's essentially the goal. The goal of the webinar is to engage and interact with your users in a way that it educates them, it overcomes their objectives, and just prepare them for the sale. A marketing webinar is ideal for your business for the following reasons. It provides value to your prospects. You pay for it once and you see value over and over again. It educates your prospects, it educates your target audience based on their desires. So when you're structuring a marketing webinar, you're speaking to the user's desires, you're speaking to the users after, because your users come to you because they are in a current state now, and they want to transform from the state that they are in now to a future state. It converts your customers in masses, and essentially it doesn't call out sick either. So you might be saying to yourself, Vladimir, I understand the benefits of a webinar and how it can help my business, but how in the world would I know what to write or say on the webinar? So that's some of the things that we're going to cover next. Is how to create a valuable webinar content without having writer's block. So my original thought process as it relates to this, when I saw great webinar content, I thought to myself, man, only people with years of experience can structure webinar content. There's no way that I can write content to attract people. This is reserved only for the gurus. I am far from being a guru, so for that reason, there is no way that I can go ahead and create webinar content that compels people to take action. So because of that, I ended up just following the same pattern of experienced marketers. Because if I'm looking at two different methodologies, one of them just seemed um, so far fetched that I can't necessarily reach it. And I compare that to, say, the easy way, the way that seems a little bit more, attainable. So, I followed the one that I thought was a lot more attainable. It is a lot more attainable, but it's not as effective. So I followed the same pattern as some of the non-experienced marketers. And what are some of those patterns? Some of those patterns were you create a digital flyer. The digital flyer just talks about the products and the services that you offer, and you just promote that all over the place. So think about just having a flyer that says, hey, I offer SEO services, I offer website design services, I offer printing services. Whenever you need me, you can go ahead and contact me. Or the flyer can say, I'm an experienced web designer, I can get the job done, hire me. So I kind of compare this to, say, two candidates who are going for a job interview. So if you're going for a job interview, you have two different types of people. You may have the individual that kind of just says, hey, they list all of their quote unquote credentials and some of the things that they've done in the past, and they just tell the prospective employer to, hey, these are all of the things that I have done. These are all the things that I can do. Hire me. You can go ahead and hire me, without necessarily elaborating, without talking about how they're going to be able to solve problems, how they're going to work together with the team, and how they're going to kind of just help take the company from step A to step B. So the individual that does this, compared to the individual that comes in and basically has an outline, has a plan, can troubleshoot, can basically speak to the fact that they're going to be able to solve problems in this area, solve problems in that area. That's going to really carry the prospective employer through specific scenarios as to how they have helped other employees in the past, how they can help them in the future, how they can problem solve. So the individual that kind of just goes in and educates, essentially, and educate the prospective employer will most definitely win over the individual that just kind of just lists all of their credentials and say, hey, I have all of these credentials. This is what I've done. Hire me. I don't think that person who just says that is going to win. The individual that goes through and educates the prospective employee as to why they should hire them, that comes in and motivates the prospective employer, and that markets themselves, and that really kind of just sells themselves as the solution to the need that the employer is looking for. That individual would definitely win the job over any day, versus the person that comes in and just lists their credentials and say, hey, I'm your person, hire me. That just doesn't work. So then again, going with that model, when I kind of just piece that model together and say, you know what, that model makes a lot more sense. If I'm going out into the job role, I want to be the individual that educates the prospects, that markets to the prospects' needs, and they tell the prospect how is it I'm the best fit for that role, and how I'm going to be able to kind of just fill the gap for that role. So then again, that moves me to, hey, how do you create engaging webinar content without having route as well? What is this going to do for you? This is going to help you so that you can stop staring at a blank screen, so that you can stop spending weeks trying to figure out how to write webinar content. So one of the first things that comes to mind, or that you should focus on as it relates to webinar content, is a formula. And the very at the very top of the formula is what I call problem solution. So with every prospect that you're speaking to, that prospect is in a current state right now. They have big problems right now. They're stressing about things. They're having issues. So whatever those issues are represents their problem. And you, as a person in the marketplace, you need to be able to provide the solution. So the person is in a current state right now. They have a current problem right now, and your goal is to provide a solution. So exactly how? So you start off with you start off with that mind frame. And if you start up with that mind frame, then you'll be able to very easily produce content, because you're starting off with, okay, I know that my audience has a problem right now, and I got to be able to provide a solution to them. So I'm going to kind of just dive in and show you some examples. So if I am in the business of helping people with website conversion, one of the problems that my current audience might have now is that they might be saying to themselves, I'm not getting any conversions on my website. Well, what solution can I offer? So my solution can be 3 steps to increase website conversion. Now I want to kind of just dive in and kind of just hone into the solution. When I say 3 steps to increase website conversion, that starts me off on being able to specifically talk about that solution. I can start to write about that solution. So right away, I'm connecting with my audience, because I'm starting with talking about a solution, giving them a solution to the problem that they already have. So problem, and then solution. Some more examples. So another problem solution example can be, if your prospect current problem is, I can't get any free traffic from Google, then your solution, as you begin to write your content, you need to think from a solution. You need to think that they are currently at a problem state, and you're going to move them along the way. You're going to transform them from the state that they're in now to a future state. So think about a sad face, which is their current problem or the current state. And in the happy face is the solution, is where you're going to take them as a result of them consuming your services. So the problem is, I can't get any free traffic from Google. Solution is 4 steps to optimize your website for free traffic from Google. So as I say that solution, I'm going to be able to start to write and produce content around that specific solution because that solution is addressing a specific problem. Another example is I can't afford to pay web builders high fees to build the website. Solution: how to build your first website for under $100. So you see that if I begin with the whole problem solution framework, the minute I can identify what my problem, what my audience problem is, and if you are in the market, you automatically know that you're providing a solution and you're solving a problem. But the minute that you can kind of just flip that and say, hey, this is their problem, I'm going to kind of reverse that and say, hey, this is the solution I'm going to offer. The minute you say that, you're going to use that as a way to start speaking, as a way to start producing content. So this exact same um, video that you're listening to right now, the problem, what's the problem that's in the marketplace? The problem is individuals can't afford to hire a salesperson, and they're just not in a financial position to hire a salesperson. It doesn't make sense for them to hire a salesperson. They can't hire a salesperson. They're looking for an alternative way to market and promote their services without hiring a salesperson. So the solution is, how to generate instant sales for your business without hiring a salesperson. Problem, solution. So after you have the problem solution, the next thing that you're going to hone in on is what I call the body of the content, which is claim, proof, benefits. So you're going to have one claim. It's got to be a valid claim. The claim is something that you're saying that you can do, or something that is factual. You're going to have 2 proofs. So you're going to be able to provide proof, and then you're going to have 3 benefits. So a claim is very easy to make. So you can just say, hey, I'm going to show you how to generate 100 sales in the next 5 days. Hey, I'm going to show you how to go from earning $100 a month to earning $400 a month in the next 3 weeks. That's a claim. I can very easily make that claim. But what's important, and what's the meat of this section of the content, of this section of the formula, is the proof. You got to be able to provide proof. So there's different types of proofs as it relates to proof. If I am trying to show an individual proof as it relates to a specific product, there are different ways that I can do that. So the first thing that I can do is I can provide logical proof. So logical proof for me is that you use logic to explain it so that they logically understand it. So if I'm talking to someone about getting your first website up and running, I'm going to say, hey, the first thing you need to do is you need to get a domain name, then you need to get hosting, then you need a website building program. So from a logical standpoint, I'm going to tell them you cannot just start off by getting a website building program until you complete step 1 and 2. You need a domain name first, because you need a name for people to be able to find your website. You need hosting, and the hosting is kind of like, paying the bill, your electronic bill, so that way you're available online. And then you need a website building program. So I'm going to speak to them from a logical standpoint, so that way they understand what logical steps they have to take in order to benefit from the product or the service. Visual proof, and visual proof is essentially photos, it's charts, it's tables. Sometimes people show visual proof by way of before and afters, by way of, hey, this is a visual of your car now, dirty, with a whole bunch of muds and just very unattractive looking. And after you go through our car wash services, this is a visual of what your car would look like. So you can show before and after. You can show charts. You can show tables. Examples of this that I've seen that individuals, when they talk about search engine optimization, they can probably show a snapshot of, say, someone's Google Analytics, whereby it shows in month 1, the person had 0 traffic, and in month 2, 0 traffic. Month 3, they start to get 20 people to their sites a day, 30 a day, 50 a day, and they kind of just show the progression by way of the chart. The next type of proof is demonstrate proof. Demonstrate proof is actually you demoing the product. So basically, you're showing a demo of your actual product. So if I am saying that I offer a tool that helps you build the landing page in 30 minutes or less. I can go on and demonstrate that to you. I can say, hey, my tool helps you build the landing page in 30 minutes or less, and I can go online and demonstrate that to you. I can show you a demo. Before and after, that's basically before the person interacted or took advantage of your product or service, and then after. So basically, if it's a training program to help people lose weight, this was the before and after. If it's a if it's a program that's going to help an individual earn more money after they go through the program, you can show examples of before and after as well. Third party data is very important because sometimes if you're speaking and you're not making reference to other sources, kind of like when you were in school, it was important to make references to other sources. That's very powerful, especially very recognized sources. So, for example, I can say, hey, according to Forbes, businesses who employ a lead magnet are 4 times likely to generate leads than those who don't. So, if I can back that up, if I can show you an example, kind of like I showed you the example earlier, I showed you a specific article, a snapshot of an article from Google that I took a snapshot of. That's a third party data. So, hey, I'm not the only one that's saying that this is a good thing. There are other sources, other well-known sources that are saying the same thing as well. So if you can do that, that's definitely one of those things that's going to help you. It's going to kind of just help you to be able to move the needle, move the needle as well. So that's third party data. The next thing is given reasons why. So basically, you want to kind of just tell the person the benefits of, hey, this is why you're going to benefit from this. Hey, after you learn this strategy to generate more leads, it's going to help you, and this is why it's gonna save you time. You're gonna make more money. You're not gonna have to chase people. So the benefits why. So you give them reasons why you should engage in this type of content. This is the reason why you should buy this product. This is the reason why. So if you give them reasons why, it just adds to the benefit. Authoritative proof. Basically, you're citing respected sources and respected authorities. So for example, if I'm trying to get people to buy into the concept of sales funnel, I can make reference to, say, Russell Brunson, for example, because Russell Brunson is a very well-known person, is a very well-known authority, a very well-known expert as it relates to sales funnel. So if I'm saying, hey, sales funnels are great for your business, it's going to be able to help you to kind of streamline the communication process with your products. Is going to help you convert. I can make reference to Russell Brunson because Russell Brunson is an authority and he talks about it all the time. Not only does he talk about it all the time, he is a well-respected source in that specific industry. Okay. And then the next thing is you need to be able to provide some benefits. Hey, after you do this, this is going to be the benefit. After you do that, this is going to be the benefit. There's different types of benefit. You can say, hey, before using the service, and after using the service. Before using the service, you're going to be here. You're going to have an unhappy face. And then after using the service, you're going to have a smiley face. Where are your prospects now, and where is it they want to be after using your products and your services? If you keep that in mind, you'll be able to specifically speak to the benefits. Highlight the before so that way you can paint a great picture for the after. If I say, hey, right now your current state is you don't have a sales system to generate leads automatically. That is your current state right now. You can stay in that current state as you are and not grow your business, or you can take advantage of this specific product and service. And if you take advantage of this specific product and service, that's how it's going to help you. So that's a framework. That's a specific framework. When you use it, it makes it just that much more clear, just that much more easier for you to be able to take advantage of knowing exactly how to produce and structure your content. So, just to kind of a quick rundown. Again, you start off with the problem solution. This is the problem. This is the solution. You go into the meat of the content. You use the formula claim proof benefits. And I just gave you a breakdown of the claim proof benefits. So using that, those processes, they're definitely going to help you to be able to hone in your structure, and you'll know exactly what it is that you need that you need to write. So those things will help you to get consistent leads for your webinar I'm sorry. Those things will help you to really be able to structure and hone in your content without having a writer's block. All right. So, the next thing is now that precisely how to write and structure your content, your next question might be, hey, so how do I get leads to my webinar? How do I get people to show up? How do I get people to kind of just opt in? And that's the next thing that I'm going to talk about: how to get consistent leads for your webinar without wasting any money. What methods to follow for success? Um, for me, when I first started off, I followed what I call the Billboards ads model. And basically what that model is when I'm out and about, I see billboards, and billboards, these are the type of billboards that I see. So let's just say if someone offers different services, if they are an attorney or a law office, I may see that, hey, we offer insurance benefits. We offer immigration services. We offer DUI services. Here's how to contact us if you ever need these services. We offer service A, service B, service C. And if you need to get in touch with us, this is what you need to do. Call this number, visit the website if you need to get in touch with us. So my thing is, I thought, hey, man, this model must really work, because every billboard that I see, that's what they're using. They're using that specific type of model. If they're using that type of model, it must be effective. So I followed it. I did the same thing, specifically as it relates to Facebook ads. I would put up, a flyer or so of my products or my services and say, hey, I offer SEO services, I offer website building services, I offer landing page services. And if you want to use my services, go to this website and here's how I do it. So let's just say that methodology didn't give any results, and the results were pretty bad. I was trying to, and it was pretty bad. And here's why. I know exactly why it was bad. And this is good for you because you're able to avoid those same mistakes. I was trying to target many different customer segmentations at once. What do I mean by that? So someone who is looking for immigration services is not looking for DUI services at the same time. So if I see an ad on Facebook about immigration services, when I go to the website, I much rather like to see, or it's going to convert a lot higher if the message on the website is congruent with the message that was on the ad. From a targeting standpoint, if you're using a platform, say Facebook or other platforms, people aren't usually looking for multiple services at once. If you look at Google, for example, someone types in, hey, I need immigration services. They're not going to say, hey, I need immigration services, adoption services, DUI services. They're talking about one pain point at a time. So going back to my formula about problems, you're addressing one problem at a time. So when you do an ad, whether it be on Google, on Facebook, your ad is targeting one problem at a time. Hey, my problem is I need immigration services. The ad talks about immigration services. And when the person gets to the website, guess what? The website is talking about immigration services and immigration services alone. So you need to kind of just segment your market and then segment your content for higher results. So, I'll show you exactly how you can do that. So basically, I'll show you an example of a Facebook ad example, how to not waste money, because I'll show you specific examples. So just to kind of just go in and talk about the specific example, if I am targeting an individual, and if you go back to the formula that I showed you earlier, the formula the content, the content structure that I talked to you about earlier, you always start to structure your content to talk about a specific problem. Okay, so you start off with the problem, and you start off by talking about one problem at a time. If I go on Google, I'm not going to say I need immigration services, adoption services, DUI services, insurance services. No one types in all of those different things inside of Google at once. They're talking about one problem at a time. Same thing with Facebook, and those type of platforms. You're targeting one problem at a time. So if I'm doing an ad, and obviously you can see a sample of this as you're looking on the screen. If I'm doing an ad, I'm going to start to talk about the problem. So I'm going to talk about one specific problem. So as you can see, the beginning of the ad talks about want to build a conversion focused website without confusion and frustration. So that's the problem that I'm addressing, right? So then I'm going to suggest that there is a solution, and the solution that I'm going to suggest that there, I'm going to say, hey, download our free 6-step guide, which help you to build your very own conversion focused website. This works even if you have no tech skills. No tech skills. It's a simple step-by-step system you can use to build your website. Plus, you can build this website in less than 1 hour. So the very top of my text is basically calling out a specific individual that has one specific problem. It's doing two things. It's talking to the people who have that problem, and it's ignoring the people that don't have the problem. You don't want people who don't have that issue, who don't have that pain point, to click on your ad, because in most cases you're paying money for it. So if you just had like a very general ad that covered a whole bunch of pain points, a whole bunch of different problems, that's when you start to kind of lose and lose money. So you want to go ahead and talk to one specific problem point. And as you can see, the format for this is problem and then solution, right? Problem, solution, and then call to action. So you have the problem, want to build a conversion focused website without the confusion and frustration. You have the solution, selling them that, download our free 6-step guide. And then you have the call to action that says, yes, I want the free guide now. Then when they click on that, so that's an ad on Facebook, for example. When they click on that, guess what they're going to see on the landing page? When they go to your landing page, they're going to see the exact same thing. They're not going to see anything different. They're going to see the exact same content when they get to your website. When they get to your website, they're not going to start to see information about other products and services that you offer, because that's going to confuse them, right? This is not the time to be talking about other products and services. And as you can see, it's the same exact message. I start off with the headline: want to build a conversion focused website without the confusion and frustration. Then I go into the solution: download our free 6-step guide, which will help you build your very own conversion focused website. Then I go into, I'm still continuing with the solution here. This works even if you have no tech skills. Simple step-by-step system you can use to build your website. Plus, you can build this website in less than 1 hour. And then bam, call to action: yes, I want the free guide. They can go ahead and click on the email and get the free guide right away. Right? See, I'm not sending them to my main website that talks about my other services, because that's not the problem that they have right now. I want to keep them very focused. I want to keep it very congruent. And when you keep them that focused and you keep them that congruent, that's going to most definitely help you to be able to hone in and not waste money. If you start to talk about all of your products and all of your services in the ad, and then do the same thing on your landing page, that's when you're in trouble. So if you follow this, this easy and simple methodology, is definitely going to help you to kind of just hone in and be able to get more out of your marketing. Not only are you going to get more out of your marketing, you're going to be able to get more out of your marketing dollars, because then you won't have to worry about wasting any money. Hey, that's my time. Thanks for joining. Thanks for listening. Till next time. Cheers.